Hello there, my name is Michael. How are you doing? I'm going to be continuing this playthrough of Dark Souls 2. And today I'm going to be going down, down, the very depths of the earth, all the way to the bottom. Well, until the DLC came out, then it's not the bottom anymore, but we're going to be going to the gutter today. Probably the darkest area in the entire game. The only area that it really may be worthwhile to bring along a torch. I'm sorry I forgot to mention this before just briefly, but as of a certain patch, I do not remember which one, Melentia will sell these things called Bright Bugs, where you inflict more damage, receive less. And she will sell 3 of them until you defeat a Lord Soul. After that, she will sell 3 more, but at a increased price. I think they start out at 4,000 or 5,000, and then after the first one, 12,000, and they increase and get higher and higher with every Lord Soul you defeat. I have not actually used these items because, well, I honestly don't have much of a use for them. I just don't really see where I could use these things. Yeah. So, let's continue on down to the gutter. I have the cat ring on, and yes, you do need to go from here to get down to the gutter, not from where we were earlier in the Grave of Saints with the rats. Let's briefly speak to this guy here.
Wait, you found your way out too. The name's Gilligan.
Gilligan.
Don't make mistakes with it.
Yet another ridiculous name for a character. After Macduff, we now have Gilligan.
What do you want? I have everything you need.
Now, we'll notice here it says set up ladder. He can actually place a long ladder, in fact 3 of them, each of them a little bit longer, going down to the bottom of this pit. Not all the way down to the bottom, but down to one of the ledges we need to get to. It costs about 12,000 souls to get all the way down to the bottom, and that is definitely not worth it. Do not pay 12,000 souls to do that when you can just leap down, especially if you have the cat ring. Which, you presumably, you paid 13,400 for it, so you might as well get some use out of it. Let's see here. We have a jump to make, a running jump, and we got there. Now this next one is also a really long drop. Let's try it. That is the place you go to get to the Grave of Saints, but that's not where we're going. A lot of people have criticized this. You see these little beams that are crisscrossing over there? You can't quite see them, but there. And one of them above here, I think we could see. You can't jump on those. And that has been very confusing for people who play Demon Souls, because you could jump on those in that game. But, I died a couple of times doing that, but you just have to memorize exactly where to go, and you'll figure it out. It didn't really bother me that much, especially now that I know exactly where to go. And you'll notice a ladder here leading up to a door. But we do not have the key to get into this door yet, and this is actually in the area past the gutter that we have to get that key. And I just want to mention how much I love the fact that you can run up ladders in this game. In Demon Souls you could not do that, and oh lord, you climbed the ladder like you were in slow motion. It is painful to do. Please live! Please live! Oh, thank goodness. That little jump there is tricky, and I'm so glad I did not roll at the end there. And here we have, I think this is the second time we have this in the game, we are running into the Ring of the Evil Eye +1. And yet, later on in the level below here, the gutter, we get the regular Ring of the Evil Eye. This makes no sense. We should not get the more powerful item before we get the less upgraded version of it. It's crazy. It's crazy that they designed the game like this. I'm not even crazy with the idea of both of the rings being in the same area, but the fact that one is earlier and the other you have to work for, you have to actually go out of your way to get the other one. No sense does it make. And you notice I have the Great Club out. Every time I look at it now, I imagine it has been dipped in ketchup, not blood. It just looks like ketchup, like a big moldy French fry. and I can't take it seriously. But you know what that means when the Great Club is out. We have one of those filthy crystal lizards to get. If you're wondering why I'm so angry at them, play Demon Souls, and you will know. It's going to fall through? Yes, it is. I hate that. It fell through. You see that? It fell to the bottom there. Do not jump down there, even if you have the cat ring just yet, because, tragically, we have Kamikaze Hollows, and this was originally like that area outside of Straid's cell. It was crazy doing this, because there were so damn many of these guys running around. And you had to get multiple shots in to kill them. It was just kind of a nightmare. And there we go. A couple more. I like to even at least target them from this angle. But if you jump down there, that's essentially death. And you may have noticed that some of them are hollows with a red center to them. Those guys cannot re-explode. They just explode once and do a heck of a lot of damage as they do it. I think there are more, I'm not sure. That item there we cannot get until we defeat the boss of the Grave of Saints, which we haven't gone to just yet. Ash Knuckle Ring, I think that reduces petrifaction, maybe? Maybe? Yeah, so useless. Petrification, even more serious than Curse. Just get away. Just get away from it. That's what you want to do. You don't want to increase your resistance or whatever. Just get away. I'm switching over to the longsword here because it's faster and speed is of the essence in the next area. Your short bow, or your bow in general, will probably be fast enough to take these guys out. But I just want to do it like this. This guy, there's probably at least one more of those guys on the other end. Yes, there is. I hope it's just that one. Now down here on the other side, we have the Miracle Great Heal. And so really only if you're a cleric character would you bother coming down here. It's very difficult not to take them out with arrows, even if you're just running through. Because you will... I mean, they're enemies that explode when they're near you. It's hard to dodge them. Healing magic in the Souls games in general, I don't really think was done especially well. The game isn't really conducive to having those heal spells in it, because not only do you need some heal spells during your play, some healing items during your playthrough, but it's kind of imperative to be able to use them as swiftly as possible. And those heal spells are very hard to use in the middle of a boss fight, where speed is usually of the essence. And I think you can use those spells to heal people you're co-oping with, or even NPCs, so that's very useful and can radically change how you play with those NPCs. But other than that, I don't think they're especially useful. What we're getting in here is a Token of Spite. Now, the Token of Spite is the counterpart to the Token of Fidelity. But they are right next to each other. Good. This is what you get if you successfully invade another player. Now let's head out here and look at the bane of my existence, the nightmare, the horror, the thing I still have bad dreams about, the poison statues. Do you remember all the way back the couple of statues at the top of the pit in Majula? Well, look at these guys here. They're just statues, right? But let's see what happens when we try to walk out here. Yeah. We were just hit by a big blast of poison. I really, really, really hate these enemies. I really hate them. Because, I mean, just look. You can hit them, you can't roll through them, and you have to attack them, and pretty much anything, even your bare fist, will one-shot them. But they're usually in groups. You're degrading your weapon when you hit them. And they're just agony. I hate that spittle they shoot out at you. And that spittle does not do any damage, but it will cause you to become poisoned. And that is not something that you want. That's a player summon. That's not an NPC one, I think. And here it is, the gutter in all of its glory. This is a little bit like Blighttown, I guess, or the Valley of Defilement, a very dark area filled with poison that represents society's decay and all of the garbage and horror in the world being thrown away. There's a little wall up here, or a pillar or something, I think. Can you see it over there? Yeah, that's supposed to represent all the trash that people throw away. In fact, Gilligan mentions that. Those are bones, and looks like a wheel or something like that. In the Grave of Saints, you can actually find a Heineken bottle in a group of trash up there. I think that's pretty funny. Before I go in, I'll just mention that what I'm wearing. I feel like I'm on the red carpet. I have to talk about what I'm wearing. I'm actually wearing, to my surprise, the Grave Warden's top, which I'd never worn before because I thought it looked bad on them, but it actually doesn't look too bad on you. It's kind of a kilt with a bit of mail underneath it, so I enjoy that. Although it does have a very flashy green jewel on a chain there. I'm still wearing the thief mask, and I'm wearing the dark gauntlets and the Varangian leggings. I think those all add up to something good. Using the Drangleic shield, and still using the claymore. I'm not quite comfortable using the stone axe just yet, because I can't really upgrade it. Now, let's bring out, for the first time, our good old-fashioned handy-dandy torch. Let's see here. The gutter is a fairly well-designed, more complicated level than other areas, because you do have these torches to light, and unlike the other areas with the torches and braziers, it's actually useful to light them in case you die and you go back. Oh my lord. Okay, wait a minute. Before I forget, I want to talk about this. Where are they? Here they are. Dung pies. These are things that were also in DS1. Dung pies are poop. They're excrement. They're feces. And for some reason, this is an item in this game. And what it does is, if you use it, you inflict yourself with toxic, a very severe form of poisoning, but you also inflict the enemy with toxic. And typically, the enemy you're fighting does not have any way to cure it. Especially if they're a player character, then they might, but if it's PvE, they're not going to be able to cure themselves, and you can do severe damage on them. And the idea is you can use this, and then quickly take a poison moss, and then you're all fine. I should also mention that I really enjoyed what they did in this game with the poison moss, where they took, it was originally in Dark Souls 1, you had multiple items for curing poison, one for regular poison, one for toxic, but in this game, there's just the one for toxic. There's just one for both poison and toxic, which is very nice. There are tons of those poison-spitting statues later on in this level, so coming in here with some poison moss that you can buy from Gavlan is pretty essential. And let's take a look at this area now. Overall, it doesn't really come close to Blighttown or the Valley of Defilement, of course, because the Valley of Defilement was one of the best-looking sections in any game. And, let's talk about this guy here. This guy is the second enemy. Oh, Lord. Alright. We gotta go a completely different way now, because Mr. Baby wanted to come across that bridge early. Most of the enemies in this level, aside from those poison statues, are just these hollows. And it has been noted by VatiVidya that this area is sort of it's very homey, you know. It looks like people live here. It's kind of sad. Oh no, he came down. We can't talk about this guy. I hate this dog enemy. It is one of the most frustrating enemies in all of the Souls games because it does what I call touching damage. It barely even has to attack you in order for it to damage you. All it has to do, really, is for it to sort of press its face towards you, and it does massive damage. I'm talking about huge amounts of damage, especially in New Game Plus. And it also is very beefy. It takes a lot of hits. You can't kill it that easily. These guys are really, really annoying, especially if you have a torch in your other hand. You can also light the torch, obviously, from these little braziers. We're going to try to make this jump. God help me. Oh, thank the Lord. Oh my God, you see that? This is something that I don't like in all of the Souls games. And this is in the Valley of Defilement. It is in Dark Souls 1 with these hollows, and it's in this game. I hate the idea of some random zombie enemy who is flailing around a sword, or not even a sword, a dagger that it doesn't even look like it can use, is somehow able to damage me massively and be one of the tougher enemies in the game. We don't need to go in there yet because it's filled with poison statues, and there's another one of those mysterious doors that we passed by the ladder earlier in the pit that we cannot get through. But I just wanted to light that anyway. And I hate that those enemies exist, that they're, just some random guy can actually be tougher in some ways than the armored knights that we fight in other sections. Let's light this here. I think we have to go down. I don't think we can get through here. Okay. Oh, well, we also have to get an item down here anyway, so I guess we would have to come down here eventually anyway. But, yeah. Let's get that item. It's to the right there. There's also another dog in there. Obviously, right? You see it? Yeah, obviously. We got an item called the Dark Pyromancy Flame, and what that does is, I believe it scales your damage with your level of hollowing. So if you are at, say, 50% health, the maximum hollowing level, it will supposedly greatly increase the damage that you do with your pyromancy skills, but I did not notice an appreciable difference. Certainly not a difference that was, I thought it made it worthwhile to get rid of 50% of my health in order to do. Definitely not. Come on, you little bastard. Only these guys could fall off. I'm kind of worried they might just suddenly kind of leap at me. Actually, maybe they nerfed these guys, because that damage wasn't that good, but I still think they're pretty scary, and you should stay away from them. The damage they do does not match the lightness with which they strike you. They just have to sort of rub their head. They sort of nuzzle you, and that just takes away damage. That's bothered me since the NES days. I hate when enemies can touch you and damage you. That always bothers me. I don't know what happens to the torch when you climb the ladder, but it's there when we get back. Another thing I should mention about the torches is that I don't know if we've picked one up yet, but there is an item in the game called a flame butterfly, which is actually those butterfly things that we saw way back at the very beginning of the game in the opening trailer. I think those things were flame butterflies. I'm not sure about that, though. And what the flame butterflies do is allow you, oh for heaven's sake, allow you to light the torch without an external fire. In Dark Souls, the fire is not exactly just a standard, like a random fire, like in the real world. It's sort of like the symbol for life, and the fire is constantly dying down because of the approach of darkness. And so you can't just randomly, carry around a flint and tinder and light things up. It won't work that way. So you need to have this sort of magic item to light it, or light it on the bonfire. Now, let's see. This is actually right where we were going to go. Down there. That's almost the beginning of the level down there. So you can see the bonfire. We just sort of did this little circle around here. Now there is another exploding hollow down there, and two of these little statues. So I'm going to try to light this torch before he aggroes. He might jump down. There he is. I see you. You gotta move really fast with those guys. There's another dog guy up there, obviously. Because we need more of them. They're wonderful. We need as many of those dog guys as we can. I don't know if he's exactly supposed to be a dog. It kind of... It goes on four legs. It reminds me enough of a dog to call it that. Maybe it's more of a bear. I don't remember what they're called in the guide. I don't think this is of any use. I see you moving back there, zombie guy. Black firebomb. Maybe. Just see if we have those flame butterflies. Yes, we do. We have one. That might come of use later. I think I shall, in a moment, cheese him. This guy, I think, jumped down from up there, didn't he? Yeah. You may have noticed already that the range at which you can target enemies, whether your lock-on works, is far lower in darkness than it is elsewhere. This is very important for the Lost Sinner fight, though not for this fight, the fight of the Rotten at the bottom of the Black Gulch. It seems in many ways, now that I think about it, that a lot of the levels in Dark Souls there's a misleadingly large number of levels, because it seems like there's more levels, But in fact, what they really did was take, levels in Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls that would have been far more large and complex, and simply break them apart and make them less big and confusing. For instance, I think that the gutter and the Black Gulch, the next area right after this, those really ought to be the same area. They should just be one area united together, rather than separating them into many different parts, because that just, you lose complexity. The skill of the level design of the other games was to the fact that they were, you had to kind of unite them. You can drop down there, but you can't really see it without the torch, so the torch is useful in one little area here. And you had to really unite a bunch of disparate little sections of the Black Gulch, of Valley of Defilement, and Blighttown. Blighttown is a especially complex area because it has an incredible amount of verticality. Ooh, we got a Titanite chunk here. That's very useful. And you had to kind of unite this massive area, and that's where the gameplay design skill comes in. Here it seems like they just sort of made this very simple A to B points, and that's a little unfair to the gutter, because as you can see, it's kind of complicated. You have to wander around, it's in the dark. It's what we were told the entire game would be, but it's just not quite as complex, even slightly, as we just picked up the Pyromancy set, as anything in Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls. Because I can get around here pretty good. That is one of those things hanging on the rope. I think, and I have to say, I think you can shoot that rope with an arrow and cause it to knock off. There are guys hanging on the side there. Fortunately, we can one-shot these guys, except for the direct hit system, which just screwed me and made me not able to shoot them. Can we get it? Oh, I can't see it now. I can't quite hit it, unfortunately. Originally, what I'd hoped, and what everyone was hoping would happen with all of these lights here, is that there would be something special, something unique, an interesting gameplay element that would come up if you lit all of the torches in an area. Unfortunately, that simply doesn't happen. If they made like a Redux version of this game, that would be an interesting thing to add. And we just picked up, again, the Ring of the Evil Eye. I mean, we're talking about complicated gameplay design stuff with these two levels here not matching the other games, but that isn't complicated at all. That's something that even somebody who doesn't play games should be able to understand, that you don't get the more powerful version before you get the weaker version. There's no... If it's not... I mean, it has to be a mistake, right? I mean, maybe they meant to do it in reverse and something screwed up, but they had plenty of chances to change that and they didn't. I mean, maybe they just didn't care because it's such a useless item. It is a pretty worthless item, to be honest. Even in the other game, the Ring of the Evil Eye was not an especially useful thing. In a minute, we're also going to be introduced to a pretty interesting little gameplay feature. We just picked up the Bandit's Great Axe. I do not like this axe. It looks a little too short for my taste. I mean, look at this. It looks like it should be much longer. I mean, I like that it is sort of a Labrys kind of axe that maybe Theseus would use against or the Minotaur would use against Theseus, but it's not quite there. It needs to be a bit bigger for me to use this. Anyway, the handle is too short. Now up here we get a little bit of a silly thing that we actually see a little bit later on in the Dukesteer Freya area. It's a zip line. Yeah, that's probably the last thing you expected to find in this game anywhere. I know I did, and it actually took me quite a while to find it, because I did not know about that little drop-off area until a couple of playthroughs in. Not that it ended up being terribly useful, because I didn't like the Pyromancy set even when I was playing as a Pyromancer, but hey, what are you going to do? I think I need to drop down there, which will hurt, so I'm a little worried about that. I might need to drop down. Okay. And we're back where we were before. We're just going in circles in this game. That's all that we're doing. Alrighty. And there's another dog enemy at the place we're going. This next area I almost always get poisoned. I almost can't help it. There's so many of them here all shooting at you. And you're trying to go up the ladder. About these poison statues, you notice that it just knocked into me there. And I don't begrudge them the poison statues. I really don't. I don't say I'm not angry at them. I don't care about it. You want to have your poison statues, you go ahead and do that. Fine. But what I do begrudge them is that this person is essentially spitting a globule of mucus at me, and my character is becoming staggered. Whoever said that poise is not needed is a crazy man. Whoever says that there is poise in this game is crazy, because there is no poise in this game. In this game, it simply does not exist. I wish it did exist. I wish it's quite a bit that it existed, but it doesn't. There is no poise. And the fact that somebody, I mean, it looks like it has the texture of porridge. What if somebody threw a bowl of oatmeal at you? I hope I don't fall through there, because there's a point where it breaks through, and I don't remember where it is. Okay, I avoided it. It looks like if somebody threw a bowl of oatmeal at you, would you go, ugh, and be staggered? Especially if you were a powerful warrior with a lot of strength who was wearing heavy metal armor? No, of course not. And even if I think you were naked, it wouldn't do that. It's them doing something they do a lot in this game, which is artificially forcing you to fall into their trap. And that was really against what the other games were doing, which gave you traps, but also gave you ways to use your brains to outwit the game and get out of them. Here, they're forcing you to step in the bear trap. We've got a great shield called the Wicked Eye Great Shield. I don't think it's especially useful. It does look kind of neat, though. It's definitely a unique look, because it has a handprint on it, and it is covered in blood, bloody handprints. And this is like the Ring of the Evil Eye. I think if you use this, you get health restored with every enemy you kill. Yeah, HP absorb. It does not have especially good stats, though, so that's a big drawback. Down there, we got another dog guy. I don't think I can target him. Oh, I can target him. I'm going to reduce his numbers with arrows. We're actually winding down with the gutter. We're getting close to the end here. We'll probably have to go back to the beginning and work back after we get to the end area, because we are... I don't think we can get back to it. Once again, this is something that comes up again and again. Not being able to return to the top of the area after you've gotten through it. And that is really against the Souls game level design, which is supposed to be circuitous, where you can constantly run around back and forth throughout the level. Not just unlocking shortcuts, but, I mean, we're not even talking about shortcuts. We're talking about going back to the beginning where we started, but we can't because we pointlessly drop down to some place that we shouldn't have needed to drop down to. And I don't see a purpose for it. Unless there's like some kind of invasion-related purpose, like a multiplayer purpose, which is a bullshit reason too, because game designers, please listen to me out there, never, ever sacrifice something in single player for multiplayer, which seems to be what they did here with the whole shoving thing, with where you can sort of shove someone like that and do a critical hit, with the backstab thing being made harder. They sacrificed what was perfect in PvE to make PvP better. And it's not okay. You got some poison moss, more poison moss. This guy, it's great that he's down here. He kind of reminds me of an ant keg in Dungeons and Dragons. He's sort of a giant insectoid thing, probably. And the reason he's so odd down here, yeah, right there. Are you ready? Pointless ahead. You're right. It is pointless. What this thing is doing is essentially... I mean, he's not really doing anything useful. Is he breaking her equipment? I don't know. I didn't think he was. This claims that he's breaking equipment, but that isn't what I thought he was doing at all. Well, maybe he is breaking equipment. I don't know. I think you will also kind of heal your poison if you get a poison buildup there. Ooh, Firestorm. What? Is that from a drop from the little guys? I didn't know you could get fire. That's a powerful pyromancy spell. But what this guy was doing is he is actually from Dark Souls 1, and he was in an area guarding a very powerful pyromancy called Power Within. A pyromancy that does not appear in this game in Dark Souls 2. I never really used it, but it was beloved among the Dark Souls community, and they really should have included it. But the game was probably not balanced properly to include it anyway. There's just more hollows in this area. You also have to climb down a series of ladders in this area, and it's sort of confusing, and it's sort of a puzzle to know where you need to go, down which section. More of these guys, and we have the second bonfire in the area, which is very nice. It looks like there's bags of food here. Not especially well textured bags of food, but still, I think that's what it's supposed to be. Why is there a torch here, right next to the very brightly lit bonfire? That makes not a tremendous amount of sense. And it's sort of a puzzle trying to figure out which ladder is going down to where. I got a part of the promotional thing for the Scholar of the First Sin being released, but this is actually the part of the area of the game where you can get the Great Club. Although, because you have to get the cat ring, it still requires... Ha! This guy's stuck here. Look at him, that's funny. It still requires quite a bit more work than the game did, than previously it did in Dark Souls 1. Maybe it's this one? I'm not sure. I don't really remember exactly where to go to get the Great Club. That's the most important thing down here, anyway. Oh, Lord. Great Club at risk. Glad I have some powder. Alrighty. Where? Okay. On pine resin. Now, where do I need... Actually, I'm going to put the cat ring on just in case. I don't think I'd live anyway, but I will put it on. Don't think I was supposed to hang on the texture on the wall there like that. There's the club, I think. I'm almost certain, in fact. Oh, and it's in a wooden chest so you can break it. There it is, the old Great Club. One of the best strength weapons in the game. Probably the best strength. Wow, for goodness sake. It's happened like 5 times in the past couple of days. Come on. You guys are so eager. I got a hard on to come kill me. There we go. Down here you can also get a hex, but I don't remember which one. Maybe Dark Fog? Maybe. Let's see here. Yeah, Dark Fog is a hex-based poison attack. Might be, I think there is like a treasure trove of like 20 life gems down here. Yes, 20 life gems. That's very useful. And this next thing is actually the entrance to the next area, the Black Gulch. But this is really obnoxious and something I don't like at all. What these things will do is break your equipment if you run over there and touch them, and I don't think you can do anything about it. I'm going to try to throw a firebomb and see what you can do, but I think you just have to roll. Oh no, you can break them with a firebomb. It's fine. But if you roll through that, most of your equipment is going to be broken, and you're going to have to spend thousands of souls repairing it at the blacksmith. So I usually just get naked and run through there. Plus, hey, you get to get naked, so that's great. And here we have another fragrant branch of yore. And right down through there, I was originally terrified when I saw this, but these do nothing. It's just a troll. Although there are more in the next area. The Black Gulch. This is another area that is a little bit... It's not as well designed as the gutter, but at least it's dark. That's something, you know? And we're getting into kind of a sad place where all we can say is, well, at least they gave us what they promised, right? So, yeah. Now, there was one little area of the gutter that we did not go to that I'm just going to pop back up to and just play around there a little bit. I don't think there is anything useful up there, but I'm going to go take a look. Supposedly there's an NPC invader up there, but, yeah, I don't know exactly where to spawn her. I'm not quite sure. Oh, this is still here. Wayward Vagabond. That's not a bad name. Let's hope that damn dog doesn't get in our way this time. Go down here and immediately go right. Stay away from us, dog. Nobody wants you involved in this. Oh boy, he's coming. Oh my lord, look at that. 2 hits from this guy with like a broken sword is enough to damage me. And I'm not wearing super big armor, but that's ridiculous. Come on, game. Wow, that was not a lot of damage. I guess this guy is just gonna try to fuck my shit up. See, the attack from this guy did less damage than the knife guy. The Japanese are just obsessed with someone barreling towards you pell-mell with a knife. I think it was related to that formative moment of that Japanese liberal politician that was murdered on live TV in the 50s. It was sort of the JFK of Japan. You can probably find the footage of that online somewhere. Okie dokie. Oh, Lord. You see, look at that. You see how much I staggered at that? And look, I understand that's poison and it probably smells bad, but I'm fucking undead. Just let it go. Just let me get hit with the slime, go yuck, and then move on. I should not go, ew, oh my god. Like I've been, oh my lord. I thought they were going to be asleep, but they are, oh my lord, there's a lot of them. Okay. Claymore, don't fail me now. Find the weak one on the side of the pack. The one that is separated from the others. Tragically, the torch-wielding guys in Dark Souls 1 are some of the toughest enemies in the game, which is something that I despise, because it essentially says that, yeah, everything that you're trying to do is essentially outclassed by some retard with a torch just running up to you and going, "Ah, ah," and pushing the torch in your face. It's like, really? Huh. What's down there? Is that where we were before? No. Is it? Huh. I was looking the other way and he still missed. I thought that the NPC was supposed to spawn over here. Try shortcut? What are they saying? Let's try going back this way, because I think this will lead back to the... Pointless? Yeah, pretty much. There are a lot of things in this game that are pointless. I try to think sometimes that maybe, like, if they had an extra year or something to work on this game, how good it could have been, but... Yeah. Alright. Nothing there. I'm going to try one more time and going the other way. I'm going to grab some homeward bones and just keep them ready, in case we need them, because it looks like we very well might. Anything in here? What about back here? Nothing? So that's the way that we came. Does this just lead back to the inattention, therefore pointless? Yeah. Yeah, people are being pretty nasty to Dark Souls 2 today, but heck, so am I, kind of. I don't think I stood here. Alright, yeah, I'll grant you that hidden path. But were we down there already? I don't really know. The NPC invader in this area is supposed to be a reference to the butcher knife wielding character that has shown up in Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls and the poison level. But she got progressively easier with each section. In fact, I think maybe this character would be the easiest of them all. You see, I can't... Can you... Wait, is there a ladder to go up here? Yes, there is. But, guys, I don't know where this NPC invader is. Maybe you have to be playing offline to do it. There are a couple of invaders that do that. You have to be offline for them to show up. Maybe she's down there. That's probably it. Yeah, this looks like... This could be it. Where she's going to show up near here. And what do we got? Ring of Soul Protection. So we got nothing. There we go. She's here. Good. Now, where is she, though? There she is. Hello, Melinda. Come on down here. Did she jump down? There she is. Now, the original Butcher Invader in Demon Souls, in the Valley of Defilement, is easily the... Oh, we're both flasking. That is silly. Is easily the hardest Dark Phantom in that game. Most especially because you're in an area where you cannot roll. And she just has this gigantic, beastly weapon. God, I defeated her already. It's pathetic. Okay, I think that's all for this area. They might have changed that where you get a human effigy after you defeat an NPC invader. I don't remember that happening. But it's been a while, so... But I noticed that in a previous playthrough that I did before this one to sort of prepare. And that beastly enemy was just so difficult in Demon Souls that they decided to make her sort of a joke character in Dark Souls 1 and make her incredibly easy when you go to the poison level in that one. And this one she's just kind of tucked away where you're not going to run into her. In the other games, you would kind of have to skirt around her to avoid running into her. But in this game, you have to go out of your way to find her. So, I don't know what they were trying to do there. It doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense. But then again, not a lot of things do. And I would like to point out, just before I end the episode, that I have only defeated 1 of 4 Lord Souls, and I haven't gone out of my way to fight a ton of bosses or use a ton of boss souls. I still have a fair amount of them. And I am already level 74. This is usually where I'd end at the level I'd end the game at in Dark Souls 1. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But praise the sun, everybody. I will see you in the next episode where we will go to the Black Gulch. Bye-bye.